Oakland, where 8 people were shot tonight, including an 18-year-old man who was killed. This happened shortly after 6 o'clock at a gas station at Seminary Avenue and MacArthur Boulevard in East Oakland. As KTVU's Amber Lee reports, family members of the victims have been grieving right outside Highland Hospital.
Relatives of shooting victims gathered just outside Highland Hospital. One family received devastating news. Relatives emerged from the hospital visibly distraught and grieving. They identified the victim who died at the hospital as 18-year-old Mario Navarro of Oakland.
I'm heartbroken right now. I'm about to go see my family inside.
The shooting took place at or near a gas station on MacArthur Boulevard and Seminary. Police say they were alerted by a ShotSpotter activation shortly after 6 p.m. Monday.
Upon arrival, they located a shooting scene, they located casings, but no victims. Shortly thereafter, our communications division received notification of multiple gunshot wound victims who self-transported to local hospitals.
Police say there are 7 other gunshot victims who are expected to survive. One woman tells me her sister is among those who were shot. Investigators collected evidence from 2 cars that may have transported the gunshot victims to the hospital.
It's really disheartening and difficult, to deal with. But, again, we're relying on community support to help solve this incident.
Police investigators say multiple people fired their guns, possibly from across the street. One relative says the teen killed had graduated from high school last year.
He was really sweet. He was he kind of liked music, but he was not really bad person. He was really good.
Police say they're looking at what led up to the shooting, including the possibility that a music video was being videotaped at the time. In Oakland, Amber Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And Ryan, thank you. Breaking news. It's a tough day. 7 people confirmed dead after shootings in Half Moon Bay. A suspect in custody, as we've been reporting. We are expecting an update from the Sheriff's Department in moments. There is a heavy police presence right now at 2 different mushroom farms. Our crew was there as a man was taken into custody. You see there who is believed to be the suspect. And we are told he reportedly drove himself to the sheriff's substation.
These people were at work who got shot and killed by a 67-year-old man in a mushroom farm. I just don't know what to say about all of this going on in the news. Listen, everybody have issues. I don't think there's no one on this earth that's not dealing with some type of issue, trial, tribulation, whatever you want to call it. But you have to control your emotions when you're going through your trial or your situation. You have to keep a cool head. The end result of you going out there killing up people is you're going to jail or you're going to die. Somebody's going to kill you. I consider it an act of selfishness. Everybody needs to just do better because you can. Do better and quit creating chaos. That's all that's going on. The world is chaotic. Y'all better try to push Satan's ass away. Rebuke his ass. That's what you need to do. Because he's taking control. He's taking control of your mind. He's in your head. And don't think that he's only messing with you. He messes with each and every last one of us on a daily basis. You just have to rebuke his ass. Keep him at bay. Find you some Lord. Whoever your Savior is, that's who you need to go and ask for protection and ask for healing. Whatever it is that you need in your life. But this is terrible. Here goes the stories, and y'all just need to do better with yourself. Do better. Welcome to Straddled Events. On this channel, we bring you the truth. Sometimes the truth is quite ugly, unbearable, and you just don't want to deal with it. But on this channel, you're going to get it anyway. You are straddled the fence of good versus evil, right versus wrong. And on this channel, we're going to tell you to do better. Please like, dislike, subscribe, and share the videos. Now let's go.
A Bay Area community in shock tonight after a mass shooting this afternoon that left 7 dead and 1 other in critical condition. Tonight, that gunman is in custody as the investigation into his motive is ongoing.
KTLA's Pedro Rivera is live in the news center where he has been following this breaking story. Pedro.
Yeah, Micah, Cher, we actually just got new information into our newsroom that there was possibly another mass shooting that occurred, this time in Oakland, California. 8 victims were shot. 1 person is dead. All the victims transported themselves to the hospital. It was possibly a shootout between 2 groups. We're waiting for more details to come into our newsroom, but it just seems like this is happening every day as Southern California is still reeling from its massacre in Monterey Park. Tragedy struck in Half Moon Bay this afternoon. It's a Northern California beach town, which has a rather large farming community and sits about 30 miles south of San Francisco. But now, Northern California is home to the latest mass shooting in the United States.
The search for the suspect didn't last long. The accused shooter was spotted sitting inside a maroon SUV outside the San Mateo County Sheriff's substation as reporters were gathered for a briefing. The sheriff's office released this photo of their suspect, 67-year-old Chun-Li Zhao. The Half Moon Bay resident is accused of killing 7 people and wounding another.
And a semi-automatic handgun was located in his vehicle. Zhao is believed to have acted alone, and there is no further threat to this community.
The crimes expand across 2 locations in unincorporated San Mateo County. The first call came in around 2:20 Monday afternoon along Highway 92, where deputies found 4 victims shot and killed. A 5th victim was airlifted to a local hospital. That person remains in critical condition. Sometime later, less than 3 miles away, 3 people were found dead near a farm.
There were farm workers affected tonight. There were children on the scene at the incident.
Governor Gavin Newsom sent a message on Twitter as he was in Southern California meeting with the man who helped stop the shooting suspect in the Monterey Park massacre that left 11 people dead Saturday evening. It reads, quote, "At the hospital meeting with victims of a mass shooting when I get pulled away to be briefed about another shooting, this time in Half Moon Bay. Tragedy upon tragedy." The Gun Violence Archive defines a mass shooting as 4 or more people killed or injured in a single incident. By that definition, this now marks the 38th mass shooting in the United States since the start of the new year. Despite California being home to 4 deadly mass shootings in 2023, Newsom stands by the state's gun policies.
Gun safety saves lives. California's laws have saved lives. 37% lower gun death rate in this state than other states.
But some say it's not enough, like this mourner named Hilda, who left a note and flowers outside a growing memorial for the Monterey Park shooting victims. It reads, "Stricter gun laws." The governor vowed to assess gun regulations to find any holes and says he will do this regardless of what he calls opposition from Republicans.
And they need to be held to account. And in the absence of their courage, their conviction to keep us safe, states like California will do more and try to be better.
The White House says President Biden has been briefed about the shooting in Half Moon Bay. The coroner's office is expected to release the identities of the victims soon. Now stay with us. We will keep you updated as information comes into our newsroom about that shooting and also the shooting that happened tonight in Oakland, California, where 8 people were shot and 1 person was killed. Back to you.
Happening again. There's breaking news tonight in the relentless epidemic of gun violence in the United States. Police in Half Moon Bay, California, just south of San Francisco, say 7 people have been killed in a mass shooting. 1 suspect is in custody and a motive is not yet known. And yet again, local leaders are calling for an end to gun violence.
Gun violence in this country is at completely unacceptable levels. There are simply too many guns in this country, and there has to be a change.
It's unacceptable, yet it goes on. It comes as the city of Monterey Park, just outside Los Angeles, remembers victims of a separate mass shooting at a dance studio that took place Saturday night. The attack was in a largely Asian American community during a Lunar New Year celebration. 11 people are dead and 9 others injured in the wake of the massacre. Police say the suspected gunman might have taken many more lives had it not been for one man who confronted the shooter at a second location. This surveillance video shows him wrestling the gun away from the suspects just minutes after that first deadly attack. NBC's Lester Holt has more.
Emergency calls flooding in at 10:22 p.m. Saturday.
Additional units requested, multiple victims, gunshot wounds.
Gunman opening fire at the Star Ballroom and Dance Studio in Monterey Park.
You have 10 unresponsive inside.
Just 2 miles away, inside the Lele Ballroom and Studio in Alhambra. That's where the suspect showed up 20 minutes after his deadly rampage. Today I spoke with Brandon Say, seen on this surveillance video bravely taking on the gunman, disarming him before he could unleash more terror.
He started to try to prep his weapon so he could shoot everybody. But then it dawned on me that this was the moment to disarm him. I could do something here that could protect everybody. In one shove, I kind of just pushed him away and then quickly aimed the gun at him and shouted, "Go away, I'm gonna shoot. Get out here, go."
Then, after an hours-long manhunt, police locating this white van.
They're breaching the van.
At 12:52 p.m., a SWAT team broke the van's windows, finding the suspect, 72-year-old Hu Can Tran, with a fatal self-inflicted gunshot wound.
A 72-year-old man. Officials say the shooter's motive is still unclear. Tonight, they describe what they found during a search of the suspect's home.
We recovered one .308 caliber rifle, numerous electronic devices such as cell phones, computers, etc. Items that lead us to believe the suspect was manufacturing homemade firearm suppressors.
And if that is not upsetting enough, we are just over 3 weeks into 2023, and according to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been more than 36 mass shootings across America. Let's bring in my colleague, NBC's Steve Patterson, who has been covering the Monterey Park shooting and is there tonight. Steve, what have you been hearing from people in the community? You've been there since Saturday.
Yeah, I think the emotion is still shock, Stephanie. I don't think we're in a part of grieving or even mourning for a lot of community members here. You have to remember, this is thought to be, up until this point, one of the safest communities in the entirety of the United States. It's been rated that highly, one of the best places to live. So to have this community now be part of this legacy of mass shootings in this country, I think people are still in shock. You showed some video, I think it's playing right now, of this candlelight vigil that is happening as we speak, as we're talking. People hugging, people crying, people mourning. But I still think there is this state of, just staring and not believing that they're actually here. That's what we've heard most. We've also been speaking to some of the people that knew the victims inside, just abject horror and sadness. And again, that sort of out-of-body experience that they are connected to one of these shootings. I think it is going to take a while for this community to really fully process the grief process, so to speak, because we're still in phase one of this. And I think one of the things and one of the reasons why is not knowing why. There is no motive yet. Police are close, maybe closer than they were before. Certainly they're releasing more details than they have in the past as they continue this investigation. But until people know that, it's going to be hard to move on here. So that is now the sole focus of this investigation, and for good reason.
People who just went out to dance and celebrate together on Saturday night. I know there are still injured people who are in the hospital. Is there any status update on how they're doing?
Yeah, the hospital that unfortunately announced the 11th death because somebody was in very critical condition there had 3 remaining patients. They were treating 4. One, thankfully, was also released from the hospital, but there is still one in very serious condition. So obviously, part of this is people still in hospitals, hospital workers doing everything they can. But you can tell the situation is serious in several of these trauma centers where the wounded were taken to. Thankfully, 3 had been released even before today, so people are recovering from this. But I mean, you're talking about people that were clustered into that dance hall at a very close proximity to a shooter that is now described to having what amounts to a semi-automatic assault-style pistol with an extended clip, illegal in the state of California, and police announcing that they found 42 rounds inside that ballroom, an immense amount of shots fired at a group that, as you mentioned, was just trying to enjoy the new year.